Good day, students. Students, already we have completed half story of Footprints Without Feet in our last lecture. Let us recapitalize once again whatever we have completed in our last lecture. We have seen that two boys on a London street were surprised to see fresh muddy footprints, and that is of bare feet without wearing sandal shoes or slipper, whatever you want to say, without finding who was making them. There was no one, they are not able to see any person. These footprints had been made by Griffin. And who was this Griffin? Griffin was a scientist who had discovered a particular drug. By eating that drug, he became invisible. And to get away after he had, and what he had done, he had uh, mm, he is a brilliant scientist but a lawless person also, because he misused this thing. He disliked his landlord disliked him, so he burnt their house and then he ran away from there. But one important thing is that while consuming this drug, you have after that you have to be naked without wearing any clothes. Then only you will be invisible. So without any dress, without any slippers, he was moving. That's why nobody is able to see him. Now what happened? He entered into a big store, and it was January time, chilly winter, and he was feeling very cold, so he entered in a store. From there he wore some dresses. It was the night time, the store was closed. After that he wore new clothes. He consumed meat, coffee from the restaurant, and then he slept. He won't be caught by anyone if he had woken earlier, but he is overslept and seen by the shop assistant in the morning, who opened that door of the shop, who opened the shop. He again took off his clothes to escape from there. Then he entered to a theatrical company and wore bandages on his face, dark glasses, false nose, busy side whisker. And after that, he again robbed some money from there, and then he went to a village named Iping so that nobody could catch him. Then he rented two rooms at an inn in the village. He explained to Mrs. Hall, the owner of that particular inn, that he had an accident and that's why he did not want to be disturbed. Okay, and that's why he wearing the bandage on his head. Soon his money was finished and he uh, came into tragic situation. Till here we have completed. Now from page number 28, we are going to start with the last paragraph. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noise in the study. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. Now, what happened? He doesn't have any money. So, what he will do? So, what he shortly afterward, a curious episode occurred. clergyman. Clergyman means priest, Christian priest. He and his wife were awakened by the noise in the study room. There was some noise they heard. Creeping downstairs, when they come downstairs, they heard the chink of money. They are able to hear the noise of the money being taken from the clergyman's desk. He had kept that money in the desk, and that was taken by someone. Without making any noise and with a poker grasped firmly in the hand, the clergyman flung open the door. And then he, without making any noise, he opened the door. Surrender. Then, to his amusement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. Now, without making noise, he only heard the noise of money. So, very quietly he opened the door. And what he thought that as I'll open the door, I will see a person who is taking my money. Poker means metal rod. Suddenly, with the metal rod, he opened the door and he thought that, let me see who is there, and he said, surrender. But he was surprised, amazement. He was surprised to see that there was no one. The room was empty, only he heard the noise. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains. Now they thought maybe some person is standing behind the curtain. And even up the chimney, everywhere they searched. They heard the noise, but nobody is there. There wasn't a sign of anybody. Yet the desk had been opened, and the housekeeping money was missing. Desk was open and the money was missing. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. He doesn't understand what happened. But it was not an extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. And then what happened? This is something extraordinary that they are not able to see any person, only they heard the noise. So, after that, it was clear when Mrs. Hall's furniture had done something different thing in that morning itself. Let's see what happened. The landlord and his wife were up very early and was surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. We have seen that when scientist entered in their house, what he had done, he told them that I don't want any disturbance. He always keep his door closed, and but that time it was a surprise to see that the door was open, and it was widely open. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anyone entered his room. And whenever if anybody entered in his room, he get angry that why you entered my room. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. Now everybody is having this quality to know about anyone. So they entered in the room. Then when they had seen that the door was widely open and it was a good opportunity, they doesn't want to miss that opportunity. They peeped round the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. Now there was no one. So what they decided? Let us see what is there. Investigate to find out whatever. Let me search some proof. Let me see something. The bedclothes were cold, showing still the clothes and bangles, showing that the scientists must have been up for some time. Now, when they touch the bed, they come to know that it was a winter time. So, the bed was cold. That means scientist was not there. He may be up for some time. Stranger still, the cloths and bandages that he always wore were lying about the room. And it was a surprise that always he wore that bandage, and even the things all are kept in the room. Why he kept this? Because for invisible he had to be without dress, and without dress he went to the clergyman's house, and there he had theft the money. Because of this reason his clothes were there. All of a sudden Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. Suddenly what happened? Mrs. Hall heard a sniff. Sniff means sound made by nose drawing in air. We know, sneezing. So he heard some sound. near her ear. She was surprised. Nobody is there. Sniff close to her ear. She heard the sound. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt up. And suddenly, what happened? The hat on the bedpost was slipping, was moving little bit. That he had seen. That lady has seen this.